Welcome to the San Siro Stadium in Milan. Milan against Napoli. In the last 3 years it's been the fixture to virtually decide the championship. But today Napoli merely a barrier to Milan's chances of pipping Sampdoria, Inter and Juventus. But last year's champions, now merely a mid-table side, will surely want to be seen at their best here to at least influence who succeeds them to the title. Coming up for Milan, 3 crucial matches in 8 days. Today they'll certainly miss Franco Baresi, who's still out with a damaged shoulder. They rest Daniele Massaro, who's likely to stand in for Marco van Basten on Wednesday against Marseille in the first leg of the European Cup quarter-final. Van Basten is suspended then. Alessandro Costacurta is suspended today, so Stefano Nava, a 22-year-old defender, born here in the city, makes his first appearance in Milan's league side. The match in the hands of referee Sergio Coppetelli. Napoli come here without the Brazilian Alemão, who's injured. That's a big blow for them. But Careca has been past fit. He has had groin trouble. And is it a sign of some much-needed stability in the club, perhaps, that Diego Maradona plays for the 4th game in a row? And that's, believe it or not, the longest spell he's had in the side in this season, which has been regularly punctuated by his problems. But Napoli will surely need all their know-how and nerve this afternoon. Ancelotti at the kick-off with Marco van Basten. And Milan attack the goal to the left in the first half. A flick from Rijkaard. Renica lets it run. Good afternoon to Graham Souness. Graham, what are your expectations?
I'm hoping for a good game today, because obviously Milan have to go out to win the game. And Napoli are in the middle of a decent run as well, so we should see 2 teams going for it today. And the pitch is the best I've seen the San Siro in a long time, which can only help the game, because there are a lot of good footballers out there who would enjoy playing on a good pitch.
Well, Napoli, as you quite rightly say, are having a 5-match unbeaten sequence prior to today. It equals their best run of the season. And from Milan's point of view, the chance to have a surface on which they can really pass the ball and make the maximum use of their class and their quality. It's been a tough job being part of the ground staff at this stadium during and since the World Cup. And you can tell straight away when Maradona's got the ball from the crowd's reaction. He hasn't got too many friends here. Here's Crippa. De Napoli, another stalwart of Italy. Pazelli picking out Hullet with the throw. Rijkaard had to play that under pressure. And Ivani unusually finding a position on the right. It's a good try on the turn by Van Basten. Well, signs of the performance, Graham, that you're hoping for.
Yeah, great movement. You know, you can see Milan's movement off the ball is far better than Napoli's at the moment. They're the team that are up and ready for this game. Whether Napoli settle down, whether they're just cautious at the moment, hoping to weather the early storm, which inevitably comes when you're playing away from home in Italy.
But Napoli will feel that it's not the worst day to come here when Milan don't have the example set by Franco Baresi in the heart of the home defence. Baresi's got a damaged shoulder.
That'll be an interesting feature how they handle that, because Baresi is such an influential player for Milan. He's the one that tells them when to go up, when to sit, when to play offside. And it's a shame that Alameo's not playing for Napoli, because he is someone that could have exploited it. If there is any doubt in their defence, he is one that could have exploited it. But we'll see. If Napoli can get at Milan's back 4 or 5 or 3, wherever they go, it'll be very interesting.
For the moment, though, Milan put their passes together. Rijkaard crosses. Steered away by the head of Venturin. Crippa, who loves to run with the ball from midfield. And Filippo Galli showing that there's no soft centre there from his point of view.
The closing down, Martin, is a real feature of Milan's play. People will stand back and say, look at the skills of Gullit or Van Basten. But for me, you know, for anybody who's watching us, just take a look at whenever Napoli get possession of the ball, the amount of players that are willing to harry and rush the player into making mistakes. It really is such a vital part of the game. It's a thing that I think only they really do well in Italy. Teams in Britain do it well, Arsenal do it well, Liverpool do it well, Everton, when they're winning championships, done it well. And I think this is so vital a part of the modern game, just getting the ball back.
And I'm sure Rangers do it well.
We try, we're not there yet, but we try.
Here's Tassotti. Yes, it's a feature really of more northern European teams, but Arrigo Sacchi, right from the outset when he took over the job in 1987, he wanted to do it. He dispensed with the sweeper. They marked zonally, and the triumphs really have been terrific from that tactical approach. Ivani crosses, Van Basten climbs, trying to steer a header across the goal, hoping to catch Galli off his line.
That was a great effort, because if you saw Van Basten's header there, he tried to loop it. He knew exactly what he was going to do. It wasn't a powerful header. He tried to loop it over the goalkeeper.
We've had 10 minutes here in which Milan are trying to display their majesty, and they certainly have magical qualities, and you just wonder what their greatest priority is this season.
I think that was the Milan goalkeeper's first touch, and we've been going 10 minutes.
Maldini. Plenty of movement from Van Basten again. Here's Ancelotti. Gullit turns and can't get the shot away. Was very nearly impeded as well. And finally Van Basten scuffs it. I was just thinking that there might be some blessing after all in Van Basten sending off earlier this season in European competition, if it gives him the incentive to put in a league performance that has begun so promisingly here. It hasn't been a great season for him, but knowing that he's not required or not able to play on Wednesday, he can give it absolutely everything for the 2 points on offer. And then he'll have a week off before he goes to Genoa in a very, very big game indeed next Sunday. And you might recall that Sampdoria won here 1-0 in the league back in October. And if they did the double over Milan, that might just give them enough breathing space at least to see off one of the challengers. Sampdoria, Inter, Milan and Juventus, the quality quartet. The champions will come from those four, and if Juventus have a bad result today, they might start to drop off the pace. A difficult game for them, away to Lazio. Here's Rijkaard. Just the stretch was enough from Alessandro Reneker.
Reneker's a player I played with in Sampdoria, Martin. He's a strong player who has a very good left foot. If he gets a chance, he'll shoot. If he gets any free kicks outside the box, he'll let go. He strikes the ball very well.
Donadoni's throw off Gullit, Van Basten, and handball appealed for and handball given. That's of course, Graham, if he can get the ball away from Maradona at a free kick.
Yeah, well, I think that's the way we're going to see Maradona. Maradona, for me, looks in terrible shape. I don't think you're going to see too much of him in the general play. I think the only places we're going to see him is free kicks and corner kicks. Very, very sad to see a player who possesses so much ability, allow himself to get in such a bad shape. I think it's bordering on being criminal.
Well, to support your view, his only goals this season, 5 of them in the league, have all been penalties.
You know, when you're picking up the sort of money that he must be picking up, Mark, you're entitled to push yourself in training and look after yourself away from the football. And for me, he's not. He can't be. I mean, I noticed he now wears his shirt outside his shorts. That may be hiding something, and not his wallet.
Mauro. And that's the debutant, Nava, letting the ball run. It's good for Milan to have Maldini and Evani back in harness on the left-hand side again. Both picked up serious injuries in December and have only relatively recently returned. Rijkaard. Coming up to 15 minutes played, Rijkaard rode the foul, got back to get the ball, and Milan only got so far. And Maradona, well, that was a 60-40 ball in his favour, but Ancelotti made it his. Maldini. And Carreca trying to do too much. Donadoni. Seems a question of how well Napoli will defend here, not just at the back, but with their line across midfield as well. And whether they can put together this sort of counter-attack, which got Zola coming through, and Carreca's onto the rebound, and it came off the goalkeeper. And that was a threatening moment, and it was a good chance by Carreca's standards.
That was a real chance, Martin, but all credit to the goalkeeper. The goalkeeper was like lightning off his line, narrowed angle, got down very well. All credit to the goalkeeper there. He prevented a certain goal.
It's a corner. Zola, who's fiddled in a few times for Maradona, but has earned a place alongside him more recently. And with Maradona going in for the header.
Oh, he's got one.
That was an attempted overhead kick. That connected with Filippo Galli's head. Dangerous play given straight away, and well, there's a pretty brave fella to get up this quickly from this. Oh! And as Filippo Galli gathers his senses, I think if he'd been a boxer, we'd have wanted to take a longer count then. He was on his feet as quickly as he could be and wants to get on with the game as if to show that nothing hurts him. We can bring you news that Sampdoria have taken the lead in Bergamo away to Atalanta. It's the Yugoslav Katanec who's scored the goal. Back header from Hullet, and Baston wrong-footed. Forward from Renica.
Napoli may take some heart from that, the way they broke through there. You got the feeling that Napoli were just playing and playing, hoping to weather the early storm, but you know, the team gets confidence from that, Martin. That's a great ball.
Well, it turns, and Evani, and sheer weight of numbers really denied them then. But it was the extra player, a player who we'd hardly seen in the game thus far, Zola. And it's the type of move with, I think at West Ham they call it the third man running. They got through...
I think everybody calls it that. But they'll get confidence from that, because there must be a doubt, even with the Milan players, you know, with Baresi not playing, that maybe they just are a wee bit suspect in the centre of the defence. And Napoli will get confidence from that.
Here's Donadoni. Van Basten. Steered through by Donadoni's pass. Covered at the near post by Renica, but Milan have a corner with 20 minutes gone, most of which have been to their liking, except for the one thrust through the centre that Napoli made with Zola and Careca. Donadoni's corner. Oh, and it's an own goal! Confusion there. Rijkaard gets the congratulations. But Milan are in front. And we talked earlier about their superiority in the air. Frank Rijkaard, and then a defender's touch. I think it was Ferrara.
He's had a whack on the nose. I'm sure he'd take one every week to make the goal.
Donadoni's corner. There's Rijkaard, and that's Ciro Ferrara finding the back of his own net.
He obviously hasn't seen the ball till late, Martin. It's come over their heads and he's tried to help it on. He's deflected into his own net, but he hasn't seen it till late, and that's the only thing he can say in his defence.
Well, they scored in the San Paolo Stadium from a corner, taken on the left side as this one was here, to earn a draw earlier in the season. And now they've taken the lead in a crucial match for Milan, much more so in the stress than it is for Napoli. 10 minutes to go to half-time. The two defeats that Milan have had here, Sampdoria we mentioned earlier, and they've also been beaten in the derby game by Inter. Usually it is something of a fortress for them. Oh, and Van Basten. Nearly a second disaster for Ferrara.
Bullet was going absolutely crazy there. He was just it was easier pass. If he plays it still, he's in on goal, but instead he tried to dribble with it. Bullet was going crazy there.
Filippo Galli's header. Cassotti kept it in and was able to find Rijkaard as well. Lovely work by Van Basten once more, and the referee lets him go. Well, it would have been a glorious goal.
Great skills. Great skills. At one point it looks like he's lost it. He's pushed off the ball and he drags it back between his legs. One defender flashes into the other. It's a great bit of skill there.
Ancelotti, but it's a free kick. And certainly in our featured matches this season, Van Basten has more often than not been a disappointment. But you can't point the finger today. There's a bit of finger pointing here by the Napoli players who want sterner action from Sergio Copatelli.
With Ancelotti again. He enjoys that part of the game. You know, he's a footballer, but he also enjoys the physical part of the game. He's someone who could come and play in England without any problems.
He, of course, was formerly with Roma, where I think I'm right in saying he won an Italian championship and then repeated the feat in Milan's colours.
He was unfortunately got injured in the year that we played them in the European Cup final, and he missed the final. I think he missed a large part of the following season with this knee injury.
That's a foul by Crippo, which Napoli again think is a hometown decision. Yes, I think if Roma had had Carlo Ancelotti in that 84 European Cup final, it might have been more testing than it actually was. It was a difficult enough game for you. Won by Liverpool on penalties. And there's been some back chat here from Mauro.
I think that stemmed from the incident with Ancelotti. They felt Ancelotti had committed two fouls within a minute, and it warranted sterner action and just talking to. And I think they've carried it on since then.
Maradona, as captain, feels that he can take this further. And Mauro, who's not the sort of player to get booked by going in Ancelotti style, has talked his way into trouble. Meanwhile, Ancelotti stands away, and I'm sure is regarding this all as a little bit of a moral victory for him.
Too experienced to get caught up in that one.
Donadoni. Now, Mauro, the culprit. A bit of ankle tapping. So Milan, maybe another opportunity to exploit some supremacy in the air. Whipped in by Ivani, and Renica really is the main man in dealing with the crosses. Well, the blood is running here. And now Ancelotti throws the ball away. But Maradona really provoked into something from the past. A little bit of skill. Back heel wasn't quite so well advised. But he's angry. Napoli are furious with the referee. Maybe that will stimulate them to the right sort of reply. At the moment it's niggly, and they're in danger of getting themselves into further trouble. Van Basten trying to smuggle the ball past two, but Ferrara and Venturini together stopped him. This is Fernando de Napoli. Looking to flick it infield for Zola. Maradona quickly on the scene. Good play by Donadoni. Ancelotti, who's got a long range in his passing. And Hullet is clear. The finish is perfect. Napoli have been punished for another mistake, and you can't let the ball run on as happened there when players of this calibre are around. They salute Hullet, and rightly so, but Napoli will know from their point of view it was a bad goal.
It wasn't a great ball out of play, out of defence from Ancelotti, but once it became a 50-50 with Hullet, he was always favourite. His big long legs gets him there, and of course always fancy him to finish. You know, that's a counter-attack, you know, from one end to the other. It's a good finish, because he had to correct himself, and he does. Good finish. Slightly off balance when he gets there, but he corrects himself, and it's a really good finish.
That's a staggering blow for Napoli at this stage. If they'd have got to half-time at 1-0, but the self-control amongst the players was fading for a spell, and then the attempt by Corradini to control the ball didn't work either, and Hullet lurking for just that eventuality. And here Pasali, as Graham Souness was saying earlier, very quick to be off his line.
You know, that's when, you know, at the highest level, this is when teams are vulnerable. When one team's attacking, you know, if you've got players who can pass the ball over a distance from the back, you know, you push people forward into attacking positions, some of them step out of the defensive positions, and they're always vulnerable, and that's what happened there. You know, someone like Ancelotti who can deliver a ball over 30, 40 yards can always punish a team for pushing up.
And Donadoni had done very well to get the ball on the edge of his own area to supply Ancelotti in the first place. Very much the direct route, and suddenly, from attacking, Napoli find themselves 2 goals adrift. Oh, and there's that handball. Pasali was not sure and had to catch it. Maro actually improvised a clever dipping shot then, but the whistle had gone. 90 seconds plus stoppage time before half-time here in the San Siro Stadium.
This has been a good first half, Martin. I think what we'll see in the second half as well is Milan coming forward and wanting to score more goals. You know, there's been bad feeling between these two teams over the years. You know, one finishing first, the other finishing second over the last, what, 3-4 years. And I would think Milan would want to rub salt into the wound here. I think they'll go for more goals in the second half.
Yes, Milan certainly felt cheated a year ago at the end of last season when Napoli, after a drawn game in Bergamo against Atalanta, were given the match because of Alamao being hit by an object thrown from the crowd. It threw the whole balance of the season out. Milan were ahead by a nose, but psychologically ahead as well at that stage, and suddenly then they were behind, and in the end their season ended in disarray. No disarray here. There's organisation and skill, and very nearly goal number 3 from Hullet. Giovanni Galli had that side of his goal covered, but he needed to go down very quickly.
You've got to remember, Hullet's someone in the region of 6'3". You know, he's dancing there like a ballet dancer. He's so light on his feet for a big man. You know, he waited and waited until the defender committed himself, got himself a yard, and got off a fine left foot shot. This is the best I've seen Hullet play in a long, long time. He's had his problems with injuries, and hopefully for him, hopefully for football in general, he's over them, because there's nothing more attractive than seeing him in full flight.
This is Rijkaard. And Napoli trying to force him wide. Rijkaard looking for reinforcements. Napoli will be glad to hear the half-time whistle. The marking not as tight as it should be at the throw. Rijkaard able to clip it in, but no one's beyond the far post as Rijkaard saw it. We've had a minute of stoppage time. Van Basten able to turn, not able to get it away as yet. Help from behind by Ancelotti. Beckoning Filippo Galli to come forward. Rijkaard, and it's behind Tassotti. Rijkaard didn't have the opportunity really to look. I'm sure he was aware, first of all, that Tassotti was going to make a forward run. Napoli's recent good run, very much under threat here in Milan. Prior to today, Milan just over a goal a game on average, which is quite poor for a team third in the table, but in 45 minutes here, they've scored twice at the expense of last season's champions. Ciro Ferrara still complaining, Napoli feeling that they didn't get a proper crack of the whip. It took an own goal to tilt it Milan's way, although they showed plenty of promise before that. And then Ruud Hullet stamping his trademark on the match with a splendid finish to the second from Carlo Ancelotti's long pass. A second half really to whet the appetite, I'm sure, to come. At half-time in the San Siro Stadium, Milan 2, Napoli 0.
Sports Machine is...
You're going to cop it too.
Sport and science have become closely linked.
This is one of the fastest developing countries economically in the world.
I can't really see myself on the touch football field.
But now, nearly 12 months since the wall came down.
Oh, that's my God, you know, what'll I have next?
Sports Machine, 7:30 Thursday on SBS.
SBS Marketing presents The Face of Italy, a wonderful introduction of the sights and sounds of the 12 Italian cities that played host to the 1990 World Cup. This 2-hour video guide gives a fascinating insight into the cultural riches and the cosmopolitan chic of Italy's cities and its people. The Face of Italy is available for $29.99 plus $3 postage from SBS Marketing on 02 964 2888 or through your local video retailer.
Napoli without an away win since last April, when they were heading for the championship. And really, you fear for them in this situation. 2 goals adrift to Milan, who seem, thanks to the ground staff here, to have solved the major problem of their season, to get a surface worthy of their talents. So often in the depth of winter, matches here, you felt that Milan were just getting the fixtures over with. There were a lot of very narrow victories. Very occasionally they showed us what they were really capable of. They've certainly shown that in the first half, with the Ferrara own goal and Ruud Gullit's second, the difference between the sides. And Napoli, I think, will be a test of their temperament as much as their talent in what happens in the second half. Whether, Graham Souness, could they fall completely to pieces here?
I don't think Napoli are capable of falling to pieces, but I see more goals, and I think I've been very, very surprised if they come back. I can see more goals from Milan here. It's interesting, he touched on the pitch. This is the best we've seen Milan play for a number of weeks. And Milan's game is based on passing and moving. And, you know, if you've got a decent pitch, you can pass the ball. If you haven't got a good pitch, you can't pass the ball.
That's Van Basten passing for Rijkaard. Napoli looked to the linesman, and the flag had stayed down. It was a very important save by Galli in the end. I must say, as the pass was released forward, it looked as though Rijkaard was running into an offside position. The shot was hit very true in difficult circumstances. Here's Zola. And I do feel that in the post-Maradona era, Zola will have a big part to play. He's carrying the fight forward well, and Maradona's supporting him. Oh, and Venturini, with players galloping up on the right-hand side. And Napoli catching Milan here short of a little concentration.
Yeah, at worst he should have hit the target. And in that position, you say to your strikers, or anyone who finds himself in that position, you must hit the target. And he didn't.
But it was a great show of initiative by Zola right at the outset of that move, and Maradona responded to it. So a former Milan player, Giuseppe Incrociati, comes on for Maradona. Well, we'll have to wait to hear the full explanation.
It's tea time. I know I keep on about it, but I feel it's a disgrace that somebody like him can be allowed, or allow himself to get into that state. If he has got a problem with weight, he's managed to handle it before. There's no reason why he shouldn't still be able to handle it. He's allowed himself to get into that state. It's slant on his teammates as well. You know, he's shown no consideration for anybody else but his hunger.
We've got news from Pisa, where Inter have taken the lead with a goal from Nicola Berti. Remember, Juventus losing at half-time to Lazio. Still 2-0 to Milan here. This might change. Rijkaard, 3-0. 12 minutes into the second half. No thinking about the European Cup quarter-final then.
They came after a spell, a lot of passing, a lot of negative passing by Milan. Then they just broke. Great ball in. Rijkaard does brilliantly because he's very conscious of the fact that he might be given a foul away. He gets his arms up. He knows what he's doing when he goes to block this ball. Look. And of course, great finish. Great finish.
Get in.
But it came from a spell where Milan were just happy to keep the ball, Martin, and the crowd were showing signs of a wee bit of frustration. Get the ball forward, and they didn't get frustrated. And one quality ball, you know, through the middle where the damage is done.
So the team that couldn't manage 3 in any game until a couple of weeks ago in their league programme, they've now scored 3 in 2 consecutive home matches. And possibly on course here for a biggest win of the season. The Napoli. Carreca. His mind working overtime then to try and lay it off perhaps for a supporting player. There wasn't really one in the right position.
I was going to say, I think Saki must now be thinking about getting Hulatov with Wednesday in mind.
Well, brilliant. He's got Carboni here to come on.
Ancelotti.
For Ancelotti.
And I think maybe later we might see Hulat come off as well. You know, 2 of the key players for Wednesday night. He's done his bit. And he was showing signs that it was all too easy for him there. He likes the challenge. You know, he's an experienced player. He's seen it all, done it all, and he's at a stage in his career where he needs a challenge. At 3-0, that challenge wasn't there for him.
Yes, I think we should stress that in Italy, of the Italian-born players, Ancelotti really is a superstar. You tend to look at it from outside eyes at the imported players, but Ancelotti has had a magnificent career, and he remains a formidable opponent if you're unlucky enough to be lined up against him.
He was a player I always admired, maybe because we played the same position or played the same position. You know, he's someone who just got on with the job, could give a knock, take a knock, didn't complain, and good attitude to play. My type of player, certainly my type of player.
Sounds like a description of yourself, Graham, anyway. So. I can say that.
People have got a good memory, maybe.
Well, it's nice to have you taking a bit of time off from answering the phone. I'm sure speculation every minute of your professional life about what might happen at Liverpool, speculation that you've been quick to put down involving yourself.
Yeah, that's a situation which, of course, everybody will be looking at, but Kenny's done that for the right reasons. You know, he felt it wasn't making him a nice person to be with as far as his family is concerned, and he's done it for the right reasons.
And just for the record, you're very happy where you are.
Yeah, right. You know, football's a strange game. I'm very content where I am at the moment. At the moment, we're top of the league. We've got 1 cup in the bag, and we're in the quarterfinals of another one, so we've got all to play for.
Here's Ferrara. Now De Napoli and Carreca. Trying to bring Incocciati in with the back heel. Rijkaard for Hullet. It's a move made in Holland. And Carboni trying to give an Italian involvement to it. Well, you can see the extra incentive that Carboni has got. He's been pretty much a regular for a good part of the season. He wants to re-establish himself. Now, how will Napoli cope in the air defensively if Ivani clips it in? But he thinks better of that. Maybe Donadoni will supply a cross, or possibly a shot. And it was one that might have come through the crowd. Van Basten wanting to join his fellow countrymen as a goal scorer in this match.
think he played for that. I think he realised he'd run into a dead end and had to get himself out of it.
Donadoni's gone across to take the free kick. Maldini makes his move first. Van Basten. Oh, it might have gone in. It might have gone to Hullet. And Galli grasped it. Helped on by Kareka. Gripper stopped by Maldini. The whistle's gone, and the home supporters aren't at all happy with that.
I can't see that. You know, he's gone for the ball. He's got the ball. Players left it behind and fallen. It wasn't a foul, in my opinion.
That's a fine ball by Mauro Kareka. Milan not able to concentrate totally on improving their goal tally.
You see, we've said, to be fair, it's been a fairly inept performance by Napoli, but they have had chances. Whether that's come about because it is all too easy for Milan, who knows? But certainly, I don't know if those chances would have arisen if Baresi had been out there.
Far less likely.
People have got to understand 3-0 in Italy is the equivalent of a 5 or a 6 in our country, and especially if it's between the two top teams, and it's a great rivalry between these two teams, you know, two of the biggest teams in Italy, and certainly in recent history, the two of the best teams.
Well, Corradini getting the better of Tassotti. Help from Zola, who's looked to take them on every time. Kareka gets it down. The goalkeeper started to come. Well, he's doing some wonderful work. Here's the Brazilian. He hasn't been rewarded yet by making any inroads onto the scoreline. But I must say, it's a great pleasure to watch him.
Yeah, in tight areas. You know, I mentioned before, there's people who are quick, and there's people who've got quick feet. And I mean, that may sound daft to people, but I mean in the sense in tight areas they can get their feet together and get out of tight areas. Hullet has it. Van Basten certainly has it. Maradona had it. Kareka certainly has it. You know, it's great to see people in tight areas where they can get themselves out of being marked by 2 and 3 players.
Van Basten, Carboni, who gave him the ball, goes beyond him. Donadoni goes through the centre. Evani. Well, it was left waiting for Maldini that time, but Donadoni's behind them. Oh, and the angle looked very, very difficult, but not for Roberto Donadoni.
Although it was a good finish, for me the highlight of that goal was the ball from Hullet. Watch this, it's weighted perfectly.
Off the far post and in. Coming in the 68th minute. And it's turning into a rout here. Last year's champions, and all their problems being put into the right sort of perspective by a team chasing the title this time. They look to stiffen the resolve with Rizzardi, who is a defender, replacing Venturin, but that is like closing the stable door when the horse has bolted. Concentrate on Napoli. Oh, and they've hit the post. Kareka. Well, it's not been his day. He has played very well indeed. Thudded against the outside of the post, and he's not shortchanged anybody.
No, he's given his bit. Good ball in again, a centre forward's job or a striker's job to get across, one of them anyway, to get across in front of the near post, and very brave to put his head there because he was under pressure with a challenge.
Simone and Evani with the latest thrust. Hullet's in the centre. Evani was very unselfish. Here's Rizzardi, his first season with Napoli, obviously signed hoping that he would join in the collection of honours. Not going to win much this season.
the referee's feeling sorry for him now. Again, that was a challenge. He got the ball fairly, I felt.
Yes, it looked absolutely textbook tackle by Paolo Maldini. Well, you mentioned earlier Renike's power of shot. Possibly we'll see it here.
Well, it's on for a left footer.
17 minutes to go.
Careca fancies his chances.
Napoli looking for something here to really improve a very dismal afternoon for them. They've got one from the free kick, and Incocciati comes back to the San Siro stadium and at least improves the spirits, makes an imprint on the scoreline, and Pazelli started to go the other way. Careca almost got a touch to claim it for himself, but it looked as though it went straight in. And Napoli, who, to their credit, have made chances against this understrength Milan defence. And it's 4-1, and Giuseppe Incocciati has got a goal against his old club. Ivani certainly wouldn't be unjust if Milan scored again, or indeed if Zola manufactured something, because he's given a perky performance.